Have you ever had someone give you their word that they were going to meet you at a particular place or come to your event or come to a party? And then you show up and you're there looking around. Where are they at? You look at the time. They said they'll be there at 5. It's 5:05 now. Okay. 5:15. Okay. 5:40. Okay, we're probably not coming. And then they hit you back 2 days later. Oh, sorry, I couldn't make it. And this turns out to be a recurring pattern for this person. Have you ever experienced that before? So many of us are struggling with keeping commitments with each other. We're struggling at keeping our commitments, which is a reflection of our integrity. This episode will equip you with the knowledge on why people break commitments often, and also how to strengthen your own commitments with yourself and with others. This is the black and white truth on commitments. All it takes is the courage to be ourselves unapologetically. So before we dive deep into commitments, we must first explore what is the foundation of commitment. The foundation of commitments, it's the person that's making the commitment, and that person has an integrity. Now, when I say integrity in this episode, I mean pretty much the strength of someone's word, the strength of something. Like, for example, when you go across a bridge, that bridge supports you because it has a strong integrity. If you take like a steel pole, try to break it, you can't break it with your hands because it has a strong integrity. But if you take a piece of paper, you can easily split it in half, you can it's not very strong, it has a weak integrity. So people have a level of integrity with themselves and their words, and this reflects in their commitments that they make. So understand this, everyone has different levels of integrity. You have a particular level of integrity. How is your integrity with yourself? How many times do you make a commitment to yourself and you don't follow through on it? Or you fall back on it, or for some whatever reason, you don't really fully live it out? Now, this isn't anything wrong, this isn't bad, but this should be explored as, wow, I make commitments with myself and I don't follow through. And when other people make commitments with me and I get mad at them, if you get mad at people making commitments with you and you don't make commitments with yourself, then that's a space to explore. Understand this, when you make a commitment with anyone, you're not only making it with them, you're making it with yourself. When you speak something into existence, the universe is trusting you to back that up. Now also understand this, if you give your word on something and then you just don't feel and align with it, or for some reason it feels like you shouldn't do it, I would always say that there is no commitment greater than a commitment with yourself and your higher self. Your higher self speaks to you in feeling, your intuition. When you have that little intuition like, oh, I shouldn't agree to this, or I shouldn't do this, always listen to your intuition. Because your intuition is the wisdom that sees over all things, is the wisdom that sees over everything. And anytime you abandon that, you're going to feel regret. You're going to feel like, oh, I abandoned myself. So many people abandon themselves. They abandon a commitment to themselves. And this diminishes our confidence, and this diminishes our happiness. Always keep the commitment to yourself by saying, does this feel in line with me? Does this resonate with me? And then communicate that to the other. And if it does turn out, let's say like someone's inviting you over for coffee and you feel like, nah, you shouldn't be there, you shouldn't go to coffee with them, then communicate with them ahead of time. Hey, I know I said I'll be there for coffee, but it just doesn't feel aligned it doesn't feel aligned at all. And that's perfectly okay. A lot of people, they're in a space of breaking commitments all over the place because they're still discovering themselves. They're still finding themselves, they're still discovering what resonates with them. And then also, sometimes it can be a lack of empathy. Having empathy for others would call people to reach out to them and communicate them what's happening with them. One thing that really, really ensures commitment is having great communication. Having a communication to be honest. Be honest with yourself and be honest with others and all people involved. So whenever someone breaks a commitment with us, reflect on ourselves. How can we have grace for them? Of course, communicate with them. You don't appreciate that. That was out of alignment for you. Communicate how you genuinely feel about it, but don't hold it against them. Don't hold that anger towards them, because at the end of the day, they didn't want to be there. And if someone didn't want to be there, then it wouldn't be in alignment for you to want them to be there against their will. Because would you want to be anywhere against your will? Probably not. So when it comes to commitments, have grace with others and also have grace with yourself. One thing that gives a lot of people problems is the idea of consistency, which is an ongoing commitment to themselves in a particular thing. Now, when it comes to consistency, think of it as simple as things like the sun. It consistently comes up. You know, it consistently rains in some cities. It rains almost every day. You know, there's rain, there's snow. Things in nature are both consistent, and then some things aren't as consistent. There's a flow that happens with it. Now, when it comes to you, when it comes to your consistency, I want you to make a keen focus on consistency of how you feel, consistency of what resonates with you, consistency of happiness first. Because if you're doing something consistently to obtain happiness, you're going to consistently push happiness away because you're creating a game where you have to go and earn your happiness. And if you spent a year playing that game, you're going to get to a space of happiness, and next thing you know, you got to go through another year just to get to a moment of happiness. I encourage all that's watching this is make it a consistent habit that you're going to do, and you're going to align with what feels good inside or what aligns with you. And you're going to speak your truth to others, because at the end of the day, all that you're doing is teaching others how to treat you. And the way others treat you is a direct reflection of how you treat yourself and what you tolerate with yourself. Have the commitment to your happiness. Have the commitment to your state of being, and everything else will fall in the line. You may find that being committed to happiness, being committed to your state of being, you consistently write a book every day. You may find yourself consistently singing, consistently dancing, consistently doing all these other things. And then you may find yourself consistently doing nothing, just hanging out at home, chilling. That's perfectly okay. Because when you feel good inside, when you obey the law of your state of being, everything always synchronously falls in place for you. There are some people where they're struggling, right? They're making these commitments that's way over their head, and they're like, I'm committed to working 20 years at this job that I hate, or I'm committed to being in this relationship for 15 years. I'm committed to being in this relationship for my whole life because that's what it takes, right? That's what marriage is. Commitment, death do us part, right? But then there's a period in the marriage where they start feeling like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. It's not feeling good to be here. Yeah, I know I made this commitment back when I was 24 years old, but now here I am at 36, and I'm just a different person now. And then someone may say, well, do you obey the commitment of what you said, or do you obey the commitment of how you feel inside? All I'll say is this. You never want to make it to the end of your life with regrets. Always be willing to pivot that's correlated with alignment of how you feel inside, of what resonates with you. And I'm not talking about just spur of the moment feeling like sometimes, I just feel like doing whatever. I'm talking about that consistent inner deep feeling that keeps coming up. That consistent wisdom that lives within your soul that tells you, maybe it's time to go this way. Maybe it's time to let this go. Make a commitment to always listen to your heart. Make a commitment to always listen to your soul, because that'll set you on a fast path in life. Oftentimes, people make commitment for the sake of others. They feel that others want them to do something, so they make a commitment because, I don't want to make this person sad, or I don't want to let them down, so I'm going to make the commitment, even if it lowers their frequency, even if it lowers them. Betrayal of yourself in order to not betray another is still betrayal nonetheless. By making a commitment to another that is not in alignment with you, and it actually kind of takes food off your table, it really takes happiness off your table, you're actually letting the other down. Because the best thing you can do for other people is to prioritize your happiness first, because then all you have to share with them is just happiness and joy. And if you're going about it in a way that's like, well, I don't want to let them down, I don't want to make them sad, then in a way you're kind of disempowering them, because everyone has access to God within themselves. So it could be a part of your process to love people, be there for them. But then if you feel called to let them be, or if it starts stressing you out, that's God telling you to fall back. I got them. I got it from here. You don't have to be everyone's savior. All you have to do is to prioritize your inner being, your soul, and you'll be led to connecting with all people you need to connect with. And that person also includes with yourself as one of them people. Nowadays, we have so many things like contracts and agreements and things of that nature, which is perfectly okay. They serve a great pace and transparency. Now, when you have things written down in the contract, it's great transparency, but also there should be somewhere in there that says, hey, if things don't resonate after a period of time, there has to be some kind of clause where they can say, hey, I'm gonna step back from this. I feel that every contract should have an option that says, hey, if this doesn't resonate, if it doesn't feel like your highest joy, then we can step back from this, because we're not interested in keeping you hostage. We're interested in keeping you happy. Always align yourself with beings, with energies that focuses on your happiness more than what they want for you. In our lives, we really need nothing external to make us happy. We really don't need to commit to a workout plan or commit to a certain job, or we don't really have to commit to anything outside of us for us to be happy. Now, all of these commitments outside of us, they can happen. They can happen as a reflection of our happiness, but our happiness starts with us first. Our happiness starts within, and then from a place of happiness that transcends into different commitments. And mind you though, it won't even really feel like a commitment. It'll feel like a joyful thing that you're just doing over and over again. It'll feel like a joyful habit. See, align with that. Align with the things that you already find yourselves regularly doing. It's already consistently doing it for fun. If you can figure out those things and really focus on those things that you're already consistently doing for fun, then you'll come to find that those are the things that are actually on the path to your ultimate joy, on your path to your higher self. There's so many people that show up to things and they're doing what they're supposed to do and they feel like they're being responsible, but they have this hobby that's in a whole different category. And they feel like this hobby in a different category is just completely, it's nothing to do with me. It does not beneficial. It's a waste of time, but hey, it passes the time well, right? It keeps my mind occupied. That hobby can be very well the thing that sets you free. Follow your bliss. Actually, you are your bliss. You are the bliss. You are the bliss, and the commitments follow you. Everyone is consistent at things they love to do. Everyone keeps commitments at things they love to do. Everyone has a very strong integrity when it aligns with something they love to do. We have a nation of people that are giving away their happiness for the idea of getting happiness, for the idea of what's at the end of the road. And this idea keeps it at a distance, keeps it away from us. I'm here to remind you, and I say remind you because your soul already knows this, is that everything you need, everything within your happiness is within you, within reach, right now. Take a moment and look around at all the things you can appreciate. Take a moment to meditate within yourself and just remember the memories of the good times, the memories of the loved ones. Think of your children. Think of your family. A lot of times, people do the story of the farmer and the diamond farm. There was a farmer who went and left his farm looking for diamonds, right? He worked on the farm and he left it looking for diamonds because he heard that diamonds is what makes more money than actual farming. So he left his farm and years go by and there was a little pond in front of his house that was always there. And sooner or later it dried up. 80 years later it dried up, the pond dried up. And what they found out was that that pond had a bunch of these little rocks in there. And these little shining rocks, they took the rocks, they tested them. Turns out that it was one of the largest diamond sources, diamond mines in all of the country, right on this guy's farm. And he left it, started spending the rest of his life looking for diamonds. It was right there in front of him. That diamond story is you. You have your diamonds right in front of you, right with you. It just takes a time, it takes a moment, it takes an intention to see it, to appreciate it, and allow yourself to rise in it. Make the commitment to always, always be willing to see the diamonds that's right in front of you. Make the commitment to know that you yourself are a diamond and you're shining from within at all times. Yes, sometimes the world can be a little muddy and it can clog and it can throw dirt on your diamond. It can make it a little bit, hard to see that diamond. But whether the diamond is covered up or not, nevertheless, you're still a diamond. You're still shining ever so brightly. So the best way to keep your commitments is to only make commitments to things that fills your cup with joy. And also be willing to communicate if that thing that once filled your cup doesn't fill your cup anymore. Be willing to communicate when it does. Be willing to communicate when it doesn't. Always live your truth and speak your truth. And surround yourself with people that are more focused on you being happy than what they want from you. Because there's plenty of people in the world that sees just like this. They want you to be happy. Seek those people out. Surround yourself with them. The best way to find them is to become one yourself. Be the example of everything you want in your life. And I promise you, I pinky promise you, it'll come rushing and flowing to you. Everything that you are will always reflect to you on the outside and come to you. So become for others what you want the most in life. Commit to that. By making this commitment, you're making a grand commitment to yourself, and you're making a grand commitment to make humanity a better race of beings. You're uplifting our planet by making a commitment to be happy. I love you so much. I'm Alan Little, and this is the Black and White Truth on Televida.